Spinning.
We're live, ladies.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, my queens.
Good evening, buenas noches, namaste.
Welcome to Conversations with Ajusta Tu Corona. In tonight's conversation, we're going to discuss some of the signs of abusers. And you may think that we're hitting the nail on the head, but from experience, I can tell you that I went from one abuser to another, so you constantly have to hear this to make sure we get it through your head. So one of the first things that we want to talk about is I have a list of signs that the abusers may show. Extreme jealousy, possessiveness, unpredictability, a bad temper, cruelty to animals. Man, he did something to an animal, I'd kick him right away. Verbal abuse, extremely controlling behavior, antiquated beliefs about roles of women and men in relationships, forced sex or disregard of their partner's unwillingness to have sex, sabotage of birth control methods or refusal to honor agreed upon methods, blaming the victim for anything bad that happens, sabotage or obstruction of the victim's ability to work or attend school, controls all the finances, abuse of other family members, children, or pets, accusations of the victim flirting with others or having an affair, control of what the victim wears and how they act, demeaning the victim either privately or publicly, embarrassment or humiliation of the victim in front of others, harassment of the victim at work. So these are just some of them. These are red flags. There could be others, but these are the most popular ones that we tend to see in abusers. So we're just going to discuss a few of them because there's too many on the list to go over. So Francia, tell us a little bit about your experience with possessiveness.
So definitely, I was a victim of domestic violence, like we've shared before, and the major one is possessiveness. They want to control you. Where are you going looking like that? Why are you wearing that? Where are you going? Who you're going with? All these questions that they think they own you. It's not right. Someone in their right mind, you find ways to communicate. But yeah, it was, I have to bring you to work. I have to pick you up from work. Let me see your phone. Back then, I'm talking in my teens, so we didn't have cell phones, but or beepers, right? Or anything that had to do with your information. They wanted to know. He wanted to know. And then my latest bad encounter with someone, it was the cell phone. And, they wanted to know everything about you and who's calling you and why. And, and again, you're adults. Now you're an adult, you're a professional, and they constantly want to sabotage, right? And who are you meeting with and why are you meeting with them? It's work. No. I want to know and even show up to like meetings or something like that. That's not right.
And I think at first, what females do at first, I think they think, oh, he loves me, he wants to be around me.
Flattering.
And I think deep, it's not right, but you like kind of dismiss it because your love is what you're seeing. So then you're justifying the actions that you know in your gut is not feeling right. Possessiveness. I had one that was kind of possessive, came to my job, shoved the the cash register off the counter into the wall. And because I was, at my work ethic, when I'm at work, I'm at work. Don't call me 50 million times because I'm not going to answer. And him being a narcissist, he couldn't deal with the fact that I wasn't dropping everything. And I was not a child either. I'm in my late 30s. And I told him, what do you think? I'm working. I'll talk to you later, like when we get out. And I don't know where he was, but he came and he did that. And I think shortly after that, while being there, we broke up, but then we reconciled and then we moved here. And then it didn't last that much longer afterwards. But I think that when you're not aware, okay, but you feel your intuition, your gut is telling you is different, you're going to have to reach out. I hear like an echo somewhere. Does anybody have their phone on?
I don't. I have it muted, but we can also mute ourselves when we're talking. That way we can avoid any extra noise.
So yeah, possessiveness, I endured it. It's ugly, it comes in a pretty mask at first, and then it's like a Jekyll and Hyde type of thing that catches you off guard. They be sliding up like slut magic, and you'll be like, what? What am I supposed to do with this? Is he just having a bad day? And then we continue, and then the bad days turns into bad weeks.
Yeah, especially when you're young. Again, mine started in my teens, right? When you start those relationships, and you think, oh, it's love, and he loves me, and oh my God, he shows me that it's just me. But no, you have to, and again, this is why we're doing this, because we want to make you aware or bring it to your attention so you can be more aware of these signs and teach our daughters early.
You got to teach your sons too. You see that what you just said is the biggest misconception, and that's why there's so many abusers out there. Because especially in the Latino community, when we got sons, lo mimamos. They don't get to do nothing. The daughters have to do the dishes. They can't go out with their friends. They can't have boyfriends at a certain age. And we're not teaching our sons to never raise a hand to a woman. You come from a woman. You respect the woman. So you got to teach your daughter how to be strong and stand on her own. Maya Angelou says you should always have 6 months of rent and bills saved up in a very secretive account, and guess you have to take off overnight. You have 6 months to get your life back together. I don't have that right now, but it's a good thing to keep it back of your mind. But I think in my experience, when I was growing up, the boys had full freedom and they weren't taught the basics. And then they grow up, and because they were mama's boys, they think it's okay to shove their girlfriend because my mother would have did it this way, and however the case may be. But I think as a mother, you need to teach your child how to clean up after himself, how to share. If you don't teach your children how to share, they're not going to be sharing grown-ups. They're going to be very selfish, possessive, narcissistic, thinking that everything is me, an entitled person. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's also based on their home. So if they come from a broken, dysfunctional family and their father's an abuser, it's very hard for the mother to teach the son not to be an abuser when she's getting beat. But coming from a large population of Latino clients that I cater to, one of the biggest misconceptions is antiquated beliefs about roles of women and men in relationships. 95% of the Latino women that I service are submissive to their husbands, must ask their husband's permission for anything that they purchase, anything that they do, going to the bank and taking out $20, which in today's day and age, I think is completely ridiculous. And before you comment on that, I just want to say hi to Richard that's watching us, Hilda, Brenda, thank you all for coming aboard. And we'll continue with the salutations as we go along.
Absolutely.
Tell me, Margarita.
What?
On the antiquated beliefs.
I think to some extent, it's still happening. It's still, I see it, my brother, and how he raises his kids. And then the selfishness when the kids don't want to participate. And now they're 20, he's 20, and he still doesn't want to participate. There's no respect level because he's 20 and he can't be told what to do anymore. But he still doesn't think he should get a job because daddy's always been supportive. So it's still going on, even in our generation, as parents. And we have to draw a line somewhere, because that didn't work then, really. There was just no services back then for the women to get help or to get some insight and get educated. So
yeah, which is shocking to me that in today's day and age, I deal with so many of them. Another one that I thought was very interesting, and this one is just not for the ladies. This one is not just for the men. This one is also for the ladies, because I have known a few of you myself that sabotage the birth control methods or refuse to honor agreed upon methods. How many of you have poked holes in that condom so that you can get pregnant and try to keep your man? That's a form of abuse.
Manipulative is a form to manipulate a situation. The mentality that you think a baby's gonna keep a relationship, a man, a woman, that's just a abusive mentality. You're abusing your right, your everything, and it's not right.
Absolutely. What about controlling all the finances?
You're muted, honey.
An abuser is both male and female.
Absolutely.
You can get a very kind man who's submissive, but who's not submissive, who's relaxed in his own demeanor. So he doesn't go off the top that easily. He doesn't like speak firm. And then you have, we women got to be careful, because I am, and I know without a doubt Lillian is, we're alpha males. We are the alpha in our houses. So we have to be aware and hold ourselves accountable when we're approaching people, because my nephew the other day next door, I was going to ask his friend something about epoxy my porch. And he's like, she's a little aggressive. Just go with it. And I was like, no, I'm not. Then he says, the last time someone came, you're like, oh, that's what you do. You come here. Come inside. I need to show you if you know how to work with this. And I was like, oh, I thought I was just being direct. But, but I guess I am that way. So
that is absolutely me.
So, we have, I think with the abuse, some people, it's just ingrained in them. They were abused as children. They saw their parents being abused. They saw their father doing it. A lot of kids lose respect for their mom when they see abusive relationship, because they feel she should have did something to protect herself and them. So then what do they end up doing? They end up growing to be like the dad. Because I've witnessed people like that too. So, I mean, when do we stop blaming what we saw and start taking accountability for our own actions and stretch ourselves to live a different life and learn how to communicate? Because that's the key to everything. Como el refrán, en guerra avisada no muere nadie. If you speak to each other, then guess what? You can resolve. There's a solution for every single problem in this world. There's a solution.
Absolutely. Communication is key.
That's it.
And they will tell you. If you ask, they will tell you. They will tell you how they feel. They would tell you, and you have to be able to be awake, right? To be in tune with everything that's going on, to stop hiding or pretending or holding on to this false hope of he's going to change or she's going to change, because reality is, if they're showing them showing their true colors from the beginning,
believe them.
Believe
what they're showing you.
Absolutely. They're not going to change. You're not going to change them. You're not going to change them.
And we're gonna shift here, because I've never been in a domestic violence situation, but I've witnessed it with my mom and dad. But I'm gonna say something, and you girls might not agree with me, but I'm gonna call it as I see it. If you've been abused, then you need, and you constantly are in abusive relationships, who's the weak link? You got to tighten your ass. You got to say, okay, wait, I got to stop this. It's in me to prevent anybody else raising a hand to me. Gwen says that I have grown up with abuse. So I was in abusive relationships before I finally have learned not to put up with it. But now I'm still witnessing with my mother's boyfriend. I wish she could break the cycle like I did. It was serendipity. It was serendipity when I pulled this topic up. Yes, Gwen, thank you for joining us. And so I'm going to just put it out there. If you've had 2 or 3 abusive relationships, you're the problem. Tighten up, take up some skills, learn, call a hotline, talk to some person. Stop blaming the different men who you've allowed to hit you. Point blank period.
So now my abusive relationship was in my 16, 17. And after that, I was, of course, you will encounter other relationships with other problems, other issues, other types of abuse. But again, I'm continuing my relationship journey because I don't stay with someone that's not going to appreciate me. That's definitely that I'm not going to stay with someone that's abusing me first, and 2, or someone we're not compatible. And that's what dating is all about. And that's what getting to know someone is all about. And I've learned, yes, made my mistakes. I had my kids young. So at first it was kid, get to know you. And then, it's like, it's backwards, when you should get to know someone first, no matter how long it takes to get to know those true colors, to then, we're compatible. Let's have kids. We're compatible. Let's get married. Let's move in together. Or if moving in together is, a thing, like Margarita said, have your own bank account, have your own, so that you're not going to depend on that person. So always have your plan B.
Always, but let me correct something. I'm not talking about you ladies. You were young when that happened. You had no tribe, no support system. It really wasn't out there. There wasn't pamphlets. There wasn't billboards. If you need help, domestic violence, there wasn't none of that. I'm saying if you're an adult now,
the example was our mother who stayed there.
If you're an adult and you find yourself in, I'm not blaming you. What I'm saying is you can dig yourself out of it. Once it's happened, and then you see another relationship gearing towards there, you need to pull the brakes on you moving forward until you heal. That's when you're not healing. So I know I can come out kind of blunt, but at the end of the day, you are responsible for you. So if you see yourself continuously going here, then you're going to have a conversation with yourself. What am I doing that is sending out the energy that it's okay for somebody to touch me or to verbally abuse me or to emotionally abuse me? There's something like, do I have, hit me, I'm stupid on your forehead? No. So you need to start, you need to lift yourself up. And if you can't do it, like I said, if you don't want to talk to friends and family because you don't want them in your business, call the hotline. Lillian has a number for you here to write down and call. I mean, there's people that keep your business private, but all I'm imploring you to do is seek some help. And I can understand if you don't want to tell friends and family for whatever past history you may have. And we shouldn't turn our backs on any friend or family that's being abusive. And Lillian stresses that. And, and I love that she brought that up. We never turn our back. Now, I am going to tell you on a side note, keep up your shit. You're going to have to call me when you're ready. I don't want to know the in-between stories. Because, as a friend and family, you hurt for that person who just can't seem to get it right. But at the end of the day, you're always going to be there. You're going to steal a car, roll up and say, get in, jump in, tuck and roll. Because that's what a tribe does. But at some point, you're going to have to look in the mirror and say, what the hell am I doing with my life?
Absolutely. And I'm going to touch on that. So I had one abuser and I went to another abuser. And after that abuser, I decided to stay by myself for 10 years because I'm saying that long. I mean, other people's journey may not be that long. Maybe after a year you'll be okay. But from the abuse, I became very aggressive. So anybody I dated, I was like very mean to them, very aggressive with them. Like, don't talk to me like that. Don't think you're going to speak to me like that. So it took me 10 years to be by myself, to be a single mom, to learn to love me, appreciate me, spoil me, for me to be able to truly and, love the man that I'm with now. And he's everything that I prayed for, just not in the package I wanted, but he's a wonderful man and I appreciate him.
But
Totally love him.
But let me tell you this, Lillian. We could, when we get a package, because you package your jewelry, very beautiful, exceptional jewelry. But what do you do with that package? You always throw it out and you stay with the contents of the inside of the package, right? So you're good. You got everything you wanted. You just got a pink package, and what you really wanted was royal purple. But
I love my package. I'm just being funny.
No, but it's so true. Everyone's different, and I can't stress this enough. How, I mean, psychologically, is a fact that we are all wired differently, and we are all going to be able or will deal and cope with things differently and have different situations and different tribes and different times and different everything. So definitely these are just signs that we want you to look out for. Only you are going to have to make these decisions and know when to make them and know who to call, so
and don't put up excuses.
Exactly. No excuses. There was no excuses. Everything is temporary. All material stuff, like me personally, I don't get attached to material stuff. And again, I'm speaking from experience, for my personal beliefs and opinion. I do not get it. Oh, I can't leave because all my stuff and my brand new furniture set. F my furniture set. I will go. I will burn it and go buy me another one, and again, different situations, different ages, but that's the mentality that we want you to at least try to have, the mindset of worry about you, especially if you have kids, worry about your kids, what they're witnessing, what they're experiencing, just, I get very,
well, I'd say, stop with the excuses. If you gotta leave for your welfare, for if you have children, for the welfare of your children. But also check yourself, because sometimes we women, we're like hot tamales. We know triggers of our mate, right? And some men won't hit you, but there's certain things they don't like being said. Like, don't mention their mothers to them. And then you got a hot ass who thinks she's big and bold until he knocks her on her ass, and all of a sudden she wants to call the police. Why you mentioned the mother? So, the domestic violence goes both ways.
Yes.
Because if you know that this man honors his queen, his mother, I've heard women say, bad thing, go F your mother, or your mother's no good, just to get him hyped up. And you're triggering somebody on a very sensitive subject, and then they're going to come and push you or shove you, and then it's an all-out war. But then all you want to focus on is, I can't believe he pushed me, or he threw me, or he hit me. But you don't tell the true side of the story, of the triggers.
Right, so she's the manipulator. She's the abuser here.
So I think that we all have to be held accountable of our actions. I'm not saying that it's okay for him to hit you because of that. What I'm saying is use avoidance skills. And if you know he's going to get triggered easily, don't say nothing. You not saying nothing doesn't make you weak or stupid or a pendeja. It makes you very smart.
Correct.
You got to avoid those triggers. Michelle, thank you for joining us. And we have Yaya. Yaya says, being aggressive towards others because of your past sucks. Absolutely. That is also the suitcase. You bring in all your problems with you. So that's why I chose to stay alone. It was only when I dated on and off that I felt that way in the beginning. But not until I learned to love myself and truly heal and love me more beyond anything was I able to change that behavior.
Yeah, and that
Hi,
goes back.
Jessica. Sorry.
That goes. No. I thought I cut you off, but then you froze. You're finished.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Going back to where Margarita's saying and what you just said, it takes, right. If it's two toxic people, if you're both toxic, it's never ending. You know what I mean? It's never ending. Is one is going to poke the other one is going to poke the other. You both the problem. If you are the one healing in the healing process and you happen to give love another try and that person is toxic, then you know better. You know better. You know you're broken. You know you're healing. Why let someone reopen those wounds? Why let somebody take away what you work so hard to heal? It takes time to heal. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of avoiding, a lot of this and that. So again, you have to be the better person, whoever is the toxic one here, men or women. So now, if you are completely healed or you're about, you're in the process of healing, and then you have someone that's willing to help you heal, and now we're talking the opposite, right? If you have someone that you're totally oh my God, like this person's listening to me. He's listening to my feelings. He's listening to what I have to say. What was my triggers and things like that. And then you want to manipulate that, or you want to, how can I say it? Start being the toxic person, then you have to, again, check yourself. This person is taking you, knows your flaws, knows your brokenness or your healing, and then you are using it
again. Now I'm going to go back because I'm going to be the devil's advocate. Whose fault?
Go ahead. I'm waiting for that one.
Why are you not healed yet, right? And right away meeting somebody in the facade that they want to listen to you, and then you are telling them all your triggers without knowing what their motives are. They're going to turn around and use it against you. If you're in the healing process, heal your ass alone. You don't need another relationship. You don't need another man to tend to you. Healing is not for the faint of heart.
Me personally, I moved right on to another relationship. So
I'm not. I'm just using in general. Please don't ever think that I'm saying anything to you. If the shoe fits, wear that bitch. If it don't, I'm not talking about you.
Correct.
But what I'm saying is, when you're healing, when you come from a broken relationship, and right away te quiere meter con alguien más, and then you want to tell them your business. Whatever happened in the other relationship is not the new guy's business, because they always use that against you. And when you're acting a certain kind of way, they're going to start thinking, is she going back to how she said she was? You don't do that. Whatever I did in my past, that's my business. How many guys I slept with in my past? Listen, all I'm going to tell you is that I enjoyed them all, but you don't need to know how many. That's my business. You understand? That's how you believe. Yeah, that's how you keep your power. That's how you own your power.
Exactly.
You don't go in a relationship.
Latinas que dicen un clavo saca otro clavo. El error más grande.
Bullshit.
Biggest mistake.
That's true. Yes. No, I totally agree. And you don't tell your business. But if you are emotionally ready to be with someone, you do share certain qualities of each other. And again, not your brokenness, not what broke you, not what or again, right away, well, this is relationship, conversation. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you can't listen. You can't tell me you want to, and I'm a life coach, and I've listened to so many people, and I'm like, I get a headache. Like, you've told me the same story, dressed up in a different color 3 times. It's the same damn story. What do you want me to tell you? Like, do you hear yourself? Do you hear yourself? Let me tell you something. When it comes to love, we're all weak. You know, I've climbed mountains. I've walked 31 days by myself, slept in all these beds. And most of the time, I'm the only female in a room full of men walking around in their Speedos. Yo, I've always been brave. But when it comes to love, I'm a freaking mush. Because I love hard and I love deep. And I'm like, pero ¿qué te pasa, coño? ¿Qué te pasa? Yeah, you know. So we all have a certain weakness to love. We do. But that should never be an excuse for us to choose below us. Because every time we choose a man who's going to abuse us, we're at the bottom of the barrel. Keep your head up. If you can't find it at eye level, then reach up like into the cookie jar that you're not supposed to eat because it's after 9 and we got to do intermittent fasting. Right? So what like you know what you shouldn't be doing, and don't let love guide you, and then you want to blame love for your silly choices.
That's
And
not
when,
love.
and you know, when you're lonely, don't let it attack you and go backwards and reach out to the person who hurt you. And that's something
We're all
that
guilty of that. We're all guilty of that. Yeah.
and then I'm in the
It's easy to
mirror
go
like
back
this.
to what we know.
Yeah, then I abuse myself. I'm looking in the mirror and I pretend I have a lasso, like again, you know. And then you look for excuses. Oh, I just love talking to him because me hace reír. He makes me laugh, and you know. But
Oh.
at the end of the day, no. So yes, love is. That's all. We destroy it with conditions. Trust
Yeah.
your heart.
And I
Heal
love the saying, if you love that person that broke you to that point that much, imagine being with the person that's going to love you the right way. Like you're
Correct.
going to love them even more, you know, or you're going to that, and don't lose that. Another advice that I give is we are going to be bitchs, you know, we are going to be bitter, we are going to be angry, but don't lose the pureness of your heart. When you're going to love someone and you're willing and you're emotionally healed to go into that relationship, like be yourself and bring your pure heart like it's never been broken, so you can have a healthy relationship and be ready for that man that's going to love you.
I make, as travelers, right, ladies?
Yes,
Lily
I am.
Lily has traveled
traveled?
more
You
than
were
us, but I've
traveled?
traveled.
You're
And-
traveling.
And I think that when you come out of a relationship that's been abusive, and under anything, physical, emotional, mental, you need to take a trip by yourself. Even if you take a weekend, if you're in Bridgeport, take a weekend trip to Stanford or to Hartford and book a room and just read and lounge and walk downstairs and go to the indoor pool. I don't care what weather it is. I think you need to sit with yourself before you even think about loving anybody else. As women, we always like, who's the next one to hit? And it's like, no. Like, you know, when you're healed, when you can sit with yourself and be home and not be bored and not be like trying to cross somebody.
Needy.
You can be comfortable. No, it's not even about being needy. It's about being
Just
comfortable
enjoying you.
with yourself. Whether you brew yourself coffee, whether you talk to yourself, because I do it all the time. You know,
You're your best critic.
I do. I turn on the music. I'm dancing salsa. I'm dancing bachata. My vision. I'm in the copa. I'm twirling in my heels. I'm a size 7. I'm loving it. I enjoy my company.
She goes into daydreams.
That's it. I visualize, like, you know, the simulations that you put that on and you're like riding a bike up the mountain. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, the virtual.
Yeah. Well, that's what I do. I own my own virtual thing. It's right here. You know why? Because Margarita's been through enough. Margarita has those battle scars. She has those wounds that sometimes they heal and then they come up and peel it up a little. And you're like, ¿qué cojones? How did I get here again? Because I allowed it, because he makes me laugh. You understand where I'm going with that? So we have to be the chief. We have to be the captain. We have to be the king and queen. I'm a king. Like I rule my world. You know. So you have to find that solace within yourself before you can meet someone in love. Love you before you even want to go into another relationship. Lil, back me up on this. And I'm pro man. I love a man. But it's gonna come a time when a man don't fit my schedule. Like now, a man hasn't fit my schedule in a while. Did I have a seasonal love affair that I drive you ladies crazy talking about? Yes, I did.
Yes.
But I'm so happy I had it because I get to talk about it. I get to write about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It served its purpose. But do I want a companion? I am so content with myself. I get up in the morning. I have my coffee in my sanctuary. I listen to the birds. I call Lillian last night. Lil, she's like, what? That's what you do. You get a tribe and you talk it out. Don't run into another relationship because then you're gonna find fault in that because you know what? You never truly healed yet.
You always have to have a tribe. When I was going through what I was going through, for those of you that don't know, I have another tribe called the Yayas. And the Yayas were always there for each other no matter what we were going through. So when I was going through my downs and I was single for 10 years, I would have cookouts, I would have the Yayas over, we would all go to dinner. But you always have to have your tribe to help you get through it. Don't count on the next person, the next man. Please don't. For those of you that don't know, Ajusta Tu Corona stands for Adjust Your Crown. Why? We are all kings and queens. And when things don't go right in our life and we have bumps in the roads, our crowns start to tilt. So we want to adjust it, set it straight, and keep it moving. This happens to be domestic violence, social awareness, for all types of abuse, sex abuse, financial abuse, mental abuse, so for everything. So that's what we're all about. And we're going to continue to have these chats every 2 weeks and try to bring you different topics that will help you get through this, maybe help another person. Like Margarita said before, do not turn your back. I know you get tired of hearing it. I know you keep telling them, don't call me anymore. If you're not going to leave him, don't call me anymore. No. You do not want to do that. The one time, because you told them that, they will be afraid to reach back out to you. And that one time that they would have called you is when you read about their death in the paper. And then you are going to kick yourself saying, why wasn't I there for them? So don't do that. Another thing, ladies, gentlemen, it is not our fault when we are victims of abuse. The abuser has low self-esteem and feels powerless and ineffective in the world. He or she may appear successful, but internally they feel inadequate. So it's not us. The victims are not the fault. When they tell you, you made me do this, it is not your fault. It's all your fault that we don't have any money. It's all your fault. This is all your fault. You are not at fault. It is their low self-esteem and their worthlessness, their feeling of worthlessness, taking it out on you.
It is. And I mean, yeah, thank you, Lillian, because that's also important. And I didn't get that out because I get so passionate about trying to get them to safety and love themselves. My whole spiritual and creative life coach, it's about learning self-compassion, to raise your self-esteem, to then fully have self-love. Now, Lillian and I have been friends for 34 years now. Francia came in about 3 or 4 years ago, right? And it's
with you, but I've been friends with Lillian for over 13. Mm-hmm.
And we had to come together and we complement each other. And you know what? We don't always agree on everything, and we have disagreements with one another. And I'd be like, freaking Lillian. But that's what a tribe is about. It's about being authentic with one another and being real. Because just because we're friends, I'm not gonna yes her if she's wrong. She's not gonna yes me. She'd be calling me on my shit, you know. And Francia, she's molding into that beautiful businesswoman, you know. And I'm going to say a lot of it is the push of the tribe. That's it. I'm going to say it. The three of us together. You know, I believe in threes, the Holy Trinity. And I just think that although we don't agree, the support is there. And that's what you need to find. And just because Francia was abused more than Lillian was abused and I wasn't abused, it doesn't set us apart. It doesn't mean we don't have empathy towards one another. What we don't have is span out towards one another. So I'm going to call you out on your bullshit. I'm going to check you if you're wrong. And as they should do the same to me, which it has been done. And I'm only speaking through experience because that's what's happened.
I have no issues with that.
So find the tribe, you know, and find yourself. Because if you say, "Oh, I've healed enough," and you get in another relationship, you are never going to find that joy that belongs to you because you're too busy pouring out, trying to make something work. It's like two different puzzle pieces, you know, encajan. Okay, that's it.
Wonderful.
But yeah, no, we are all, again, we're different and we complement each other. We come together, and I'm the type of person that I'm in a room and I stand corrected when I'm wrong. If I'm wrong and you constructive criticize me, I'm going to take it as a grown ass woman, and correct what I need to correct. And you're still my friend because you said it to my face, because you told me adjust the crown. You actually helped me adjust the crown. You didn't just criticize me behind my back and F you. No, is you, Francia, your crown is a little crooked. Let me help you.
Tighten up, girl. Tighten up.
Exactly. This is why it's crooked, because I saw you trip. So as you called me, and I spent the weekend with you this weekend, and it was, I take it all in. I take it all in, and it's realness, and is what I want to hear, what I need to hear. And same thing with Lillian. She'll tell me.
Lillian, don't care where she's at. She'll call you. Mira, condena.
So we're going to go full circle. Remember how when we started, Francia stated that she could be talking to someone about, someone that's trying to help her heal as she's trying to get over the other one. And we do not condone that. We do not condone jumping from one relationship to another. And that is because an abuser may be pleasant and charming between periods of violence, and is often seen as a nice person to others outside the relationship. So they're always putting on an act.
If you don't believe it, watch that. I don't know the name of it. It's Tyler Perry with Medea. When it starts off with the girl soaking in the tub, and he has like an orchestra playing in there, and it's full of roses. And as soon as the first time I ever watched that movie, I'm with my husband. I said, "Oh, he beat her." He's like, "No, he didn't. He's doing something nice. You women." And the bruises were on it. So you're absolutely right.
The Diary of a Black Woman.
Yes.
Diary of a Mad Black Woman. I love that movie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to give a shout out to Jessica Martinez. Yesterday was her birthday. Happy belated birthday, beautiful.
Happy birthday, Jessica.
Want me to sing?
Oh, goodness. So,
yeah, they're gonna be nice. They're gonna give you the roses and and take you. They don't know where to put you at first. And again, then this is why is look for the signs. It's not they're gonna give them to you right away, or it's be present so you can be able have your eyes open, your guards up, as comfortable as you can, as real as you can be, to be able to see those signs.
Yes. Lillian, I think didn't have hola prima, my cousin Toji's, and didn't you have another list or some other pointers you wanted to hand out? Lillian is like
there's so many, and when I was reading them, this one was super important to me: cruelty to animals. But it goes beyond that, because it's abuse of other family members, children, or pets. Now, if you're not an animal lover, you may not consider the abuse of an animal abusive. But if anyone even tried to touch my doggie, I would kick them first.
Yeah.
It's
Well, yeah, I
definitely
mean,
abuse.
right, and again, it could be as terrible as that. Like if someone actually kicks a dog or kicks your pet out of the way, and you catch them doing that, of course, there's something like, oh, but I want to bring it back a little bit more subtle. Like if they treat the waiter, if they go and treat, people again in front of you as, oh, they're all nice, but then they go and just have this attitude and this, they're better than someone outside, that is also like how you treat people, right? How you treat people, how you treat your mother, how you treat your siblings, how you treat people around you. Oh, um, and then of course, yeah, it goes to your pets and it goes to your uh, how they treat people and animals and things around you.
So for those of you that are online and do not know it, Margarita is a full-time care provider for her mother who suffers from dementia. So something must have happened in the background with her mom. So we just muted her out a little bit until she's ready to come back. Abuse of children. If your child is getting abuse, even before you're getting abuse, run for the hills. Your child should not have to experience that. And if you stay with them because you're afraid for your, you're afraid for your child, or it's more of a reason to run for the hills.
Yes.
Let me unmute her mic, and she's back.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had to adjust my mother.
Yeah, we were saying about how, the behavior with other people, and obviously animals, and things like that.
Yeah, I think that we should, when we're dealing with somebody, kindness and gratitude. If you don't notice that in a person's, aura, then you got to question. Kindness and gratitude is just, it's like impulsive. It's just who they are. They'll hold the door for you. They'll say thank you. They call their mom. They check on their family members. They make sure you have a couple dollars in your purse when you're leaving. They ask you how your day was. It's those simple things that we take for granted.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That we just think, but it's okay. No, it's not okay. When you walk through that door, my husband knew every time he came home from work, he had to give me a hug at the door. How was your day? And plus, you got to set boundaries, and you got to let them know, what your expectations are. And then you got to see if you can match it. Don't go with somebody because they're cute, but all the other parts of them are ugly, or they don't. Your love language doesn't match. I mean, you got to pull up their natal chart. I don't care what you do. Just make sure that you're a match.
Mm-hmm. This is for the lady and the man. If you feel generally uneasy and unsafe, if you find yourself altering your behavior to keep them happy, and if you believe that they might hurt you if you don't do what they ask, you must immediately contact the domestic violence hotline. The number is right below on the screen. It is a national number. It is the number for everyone. Please, if you need a tribe, Margarita is a life coach. I am a certified life coach. We will gladly talk to you. You can talk to us one-on-one. You can talk to us in a tribe. You need us to be there for you. We will gladly Zoom you. Just reach out to us. You can get to us right through Facebook. You can get through to us through YouTube. You can message us, and we will become your tribe to help you get through what you're going through. We've all been there. And I can honestly say, I feel loved. I love myself. I am successful. I'm the owner of 2 businesses. Your situation does not define you, your choices do. So please make the choice to save yourself, save a friend, tell them you'll be there for them, and just be kind and loving, like Margarita stated before.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's so true. And that's what I was trying to get before. It doesn't matter what you came, where you came out of, where you crawled out of, to make sure you crawled out alive. It's where you're at now after the fact. Are and building and creating, but with the self-compassion and the self-love. Jessica says her husband wakes her up every morning to kiss her goodbye. Every morning she's stressed, and that's beautiful. But like we said, it's a two-way street. But if you are being abused in any way, don't feel ashamed. You're not stupid. It's not your fault. Seek help. The choice is yours. If you stay, that's also a choice. It's not an excuse. How many excuses you put to stay, you chose to stay and deal with those consequences. So you gotta ask yourself, ¿me ajusto la corona o me la quito?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and going back to the scenario that I explained, Lillian, there's different excuses, right? That a woman or a man can present, and if you're here undocumented, if you're here from another country, Lillian, what is the advice you give them so they can, right? Because now they're double threat, right? Is if I leave here, the abuser, and I go out there, they're going to deport me back to, maybe a worse situation or a bad situation that I came from.
There's different, and I can't speak for all, and I can't say that this is still an immigration law there was a visa that victims of abuse were able to obtain, a humanitarian visa. They happen to get so many of them that I do not know if they are still in effect. But if you are from out of the country and you are not here legally, you also have rights. Do not let them put the fear of you being deported, out of the country as an excuse for you to stay there and continuously take this. No, you have rights. Call the police, call 211. You will be helped. Call the 1-800 National Domestic Violence Hotline, and you will be assisted. Do not let them terrorize you by telling you that you're going to be deported.
Thank you. You're muted, honey. You're muted, Margarita.
And I'm still talking. I said, thanks for bringing that question up, because, they need to know this too. There's always somewhere to go when you need help. But my biggest thing is, if anyone on this show is going through it, or someone that's going through it, be kind to them and assure them that it's not their fault, and for them not to be shamed, but to please get help. And that you'll pick them up, you'll go, be careful of domestic violence, that you meet them around the corner. But, that you'll be there for them the whole way until they're to safety. We need to be that sisterhood. If it's a domestic violence situation where they're always getting beat, don't go into it telling her, come on, I'm here to pick you up. Don't do that to yourself, because those have also gone very wrong.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Tell her to meet you around the corner. We're going to go hood now. I'll be around the corner. Tuck and roll. Get in. Let's go. So
I just sent you the Uber. I just sent you an Uber. Hop in the car. Mm-hmm. Don't tell them where you're going. Don't tell them who you spoke to.
And don't worry about if you need to get out of it too, It don't matter if you're dressed or barefoot or whatever. Just go.
Just go. Don't worry about material things. You worry about your life. Worry about your mental. Worry about your future, especially if you have kids.
Absolutely. We want to thank everyone for joining Ajusta Tu Corona this evening. Conversations with Ajusta Tu Corona. We will continue these chronicles bi-weekly, and we will bring you more information that we hope is helpful to you. Please feel free to be part of the conversation. Make your comments. We will respond to you. If you want to make comments privately, you can message us. But thank you. Thank you very much for being with us tonight. And don't forget, National Domestic Violence Hotline, 1-800-799-7233.
Yes, and good night, mi gente. Thank you for coming. Namaste.
Thank you so much, guys. Hope to, make a difference and be informative to all of you out there.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Right.